Om Shanti. Today's Baba is talking about the manners of speaking. But before that, I would like to discuss another point that Baba mentions today, that a student studies in solitude. Yes. And we have, so in this path of knowledge, the definition of solitude is that solitude is not physical, it's not being alone, it's being in remembrance of Baba. So the Hindi word is ekant, and Baba has explained that ek ant means you live in the remembrance of one. Ant means the essence or the end of something. So Baba says you stay in the remembrance of the one, Baba. And Baba has given us the whole story of Baba's beginning, middle, and end. And Baba has given us the whole, when in Hindi we say, Kisi ka ant janna means knowing the whole of something. And then the whole knowledge about Baba is with us. So staying in remembrance of Baba as we know Baba now, that is called solitude according to Gyan. So Baba says that just like, in the world, when students study, it is recommended that they stay in solitude, which means physical solitude. So they always say that, I need a separate room, I need quiet time. But Baba says for this study, you don't need physical solitude, you need to be in remembrance of Baba. And that solitude is very important. And Baba says, we are godly students and we must have a good relationship with solitude. So, do you have a good relationship with solitude? That is a very important question to ask yourself. Because sometimes people come into Gyan looking for companionship. So they think that so I will tell you one incident. So there was one Mata and she came into Gyan and she used to come to the center. And then she always said, Didi, I like to talk to you and I like to spend time with you. But I always told her, I made it a point to tell her that, this is not why you have come. You've come to learn and build your relationship with Baba. But then she always kept, saying that I'm very thankful to Baba for giving me your company. And then, service increased, and then I couldn't talk to her that much as I did in the early times, because of course, when one child has understood knowledge, then you don't keep talking to them, because otherwise it becomes all waste talk. What is there to talk? And then, she left Gyan and she said that I don't, I miss your company or something. And you have to understand that we are not here for company. We are here to understand that I am a soul and this is Baba. And through solitude, through remembrance of Baba, I have to take all the inheritance from Baba. In this remembrance of Baba, through this inner work, which doesn't involve anybody, any human being, which has only you and Baba. In that inner work, you have to draw in powers, virtues, everything from Baba. And all the practices that we have are done in solitude. It is between you and Baba. And we don't have to. So one thing about not embracing, this not having love for solitude is those people who like to talk. So, if you like to talk, very difficult to live in Gyan. So, you must learn how to speak less. And, there are many people who are fond of talking. And the interesting thing is, you cannot talk to a wall, you will talk to somebody. And then, you will keep looking for people if you have that tendency for talking. And I've seen that this is a very difficult sanskar in many people, and in Baba's children also, that they enjoy talking. And you see, just like, there are many body conscious sanskars, this talking too much is also a body conscious sanskar. So you should be able to talk when required, and you should be able to keep quiet when required. And this is spiritual. So spirituality means you are the master. You don't have any compulsiveness. You are not dying to talk to somebody. You are, you can talk. We can talk for 1 hour when required, and we can keep quiet for 1 week if there is no need to talk. That is what being in your power means. I will tell you one incident. So there was this one brother, and Ramesh Bhai Saab. Ramesh Bhai Saab, many of you don't know. So one of the senior brothers in the Yagya was Ramesh Bhai Saab. So Ramesh Bhai Saab Ramesh Bhai Saab's Lokik wife, Yugal, Usha Ben. So Usha Ben so they were both dedicated, and Usha Ben was a very good Baba's child who shared Baba's knowledge and took classes. And then, Ramesh Bhai Saab was once sharing an experience that he told somebody that Usha can speak for 1 hour at a stretch. Okay, so he was just saying, like bragging about his wife, and he was very proud that Usha can speak for 1 hour at a stretch. So then the other person said, my wife can speak for 24 hours at a stretch. So then Ramesh Bhai Saab said, Ramesh Bhai Saab said, I realized that the important thing is Usha Didi can speak on a topic for 1 hour. Because without a topic, if you speak 24 hours, that is not something to be proud of. So, all this wasteful talk that we engage in, this is also one sanskar of body consciousness. And Baba tells us the very interesting thing today, that in the world, even in this Kali Yuga, the people who are successful don't talk too much. Yes, have you seen that those people who are at the height of success, they are very reserved, they don't talk too much. And Baba mentions this, and I remember there was one person describing a celebrity in the world, and he said that celebrity, even if we were waiting in the same zone, so that celebrity is a very elder celebrity, like 80 years of age right now or something. And then he said, if we are waiting, maybe we are there for a performance, or we are there on the stage together, then, and we have to wait in the green room for maybe 2 hours, 4 hours. At that time also, that celebrity would not engage in small talk. He would just keep his mouth shut and sit. And he said, I had the urge to, talk, because we are two people and we are in the same event, so we could talk. And then out of that urge, I would ask him one question, and then he would answer it and keep quiet. And then I realized that he doesn't choose to talk. And then I learned that from him. And why Baba is mentioning that even people in the world who are successful don't talk too much. And Baba says, you are going to become deities. You are going to become the most important people in the world. So Baba says, and deities don't talk too much. Deities talk very less. And do you understand that in our new world, we will not use language too much, our thoughts and our eyes will communicate. So Baba says that you are going to become deities, you are going to become the most important people. So one thing you have to adopt is talk less. And because whenever you talk more, most of it is wasteful. Is it not? Yes. Just take a project today. Just take a homework that today, whole day, you will not talk anything wasteful. Then you will realize there is nothing to talk about because everything is wasteful. Most of what we are engaging in the form of talk is wasteful. So Baba says, don't talk unnecessarily, speak less. So, we have a slogan, कम बोलो, धीरे बोलो, मीठा बोलो, और सोच समझ कर बोलो. So, speak less, speak softly, speak sweetly, and don't speak wasteful. Think before you speak. Because whenever you are speaking extra, you are creating waste words. And do you know, there is another thing that Baba has told us, waste creates weight. So any wastage creates a burden on the soul. And how do you know that there is a burden on the soul accumulated because of engaging in some wasteful action? It will make you lose your peace. So, whenever you do something wasteful, it will create a burden on you. Waste creates weight, and the sign of that burden is that you will lose your peace. So, have you seen that whenever you think more than necessary, what happens? You lose your peace. When you speak more than necessary, you lose your peace. And when you do something which was not necessary, maybe, you called somebody 3 times, which was not necessary. You just had to call them once a week, but then you ended up calling them 3 times a day. And then later your peace is gone. Because whatever you do unnecessary will take away your peace. And Baba says that's why you talking less is very important. Because whenever we children, Baba says, when you are peaceful, you spread peace. And Baba gives us very many good titles. Baba says, you are the stars of this earth. So, there are stars are called deities, and people worship stars. There are, at least in the Hindu culture, there are specific days when you worship stars, and stars are considered to be deities. But Baba says those stars are just the lights of this world. They are not deities. So, in whose remembrance are those stars worshipped? So, Baba says, you are the stars of this world. And because people don't recognize you, they worship those stars. But you are the ones who are worthy of worship. And Baba says, why are you worshipped? Why is your remembrance worshipped? Because Baba says, you light up this world. And how do you light up this world? Through the light of peace, through the light of purity. This is the light that the world needs. The world doesn't need physical lights anymore. Too many lights these days, yes? You have you have soft light, very blazing light, everything you have. But Baba says that is not the requirement of this world right now. The world needs the light of peace, the light of purity, the light of love. And Baba says, you are the ones who are responsible for spreading this light into the world. And Baba says, that's why, because you have such a big responsibility over you, you have to be very careful and attentive of being in peace. Because you will spread as you are. So whatever state you are in, that state will be radiating into the atmosphere. So Baba says it is very important that we children, we don't engage in any wasteful talk, and then we don't lose our peace. Have you experienced that whenever you speak something which was not necessary, later you can't stop thinking about it. Yes, you keep going back to that scene and you keep correcting that, I shouldn't have spoken this. But why does this happen? Why does our mouth go so much out of control that you are speaking something and doing something and then repenting it later? Because we are not thinking before we speak, we are not thinking before we act. It is all going on, it's like that sanskar or rush of sanskar is happening, and we are doing everything according to that rush of sanskar. So we have to take a pause, we have to learn to take a pause. And we have to learn to take a pause before speaking. We have to learn to take a pause before acting. And how will you take a pause before speaking and acting? If you are practicing being in Baba's remembrance. So, being in Baba's remembrance is creating the habit of detaching from this body conscious world and then reconnecting to Baba all the time. And then, when you have this habit of remembering Baba, then you will remember Baba before speaking, remember Baba before acting. And then when you do that, then you will be able to speak as required, speak only necessary, and not lose your peace over your own words and your own actions. And in my experience, nobody can make you lose your peace, nobody can make you lose your happiness, nobody can make you feel miserable until and unless you get influenced by somebody's words and acts and engage in a reaction which makes you lose your peace. Yes, because I have been in situations where somebody has been very rude to me and I have been totally at peace. But I have also been in situations when somebody has been rude and I got angry and I spoke something and then I lost my peace. So then I understood that I did not lose my peace because of them. I lost my peace when I overstepped my boundary. So, whatever is my boundary, if I am, Baba has entrusted me with this duty of speaking meaningfully. And if I speak under the influence of a vice, or I speak, out of anger, or I speak out of criticism or complaint, then I lose my peace. So, Baba tells us that you will lose your peace, and you have a very big responsibility on your shoulders of making this world peaceful. So don't lose your peace by engaging in wasteful talk. And then Baba says, talk less if you don't want to talk wasteful. Think before opening your mouth. Baba says, it is better to keep quiet than to talk wasteful. So, always ask yourself, is what I'm saying necessary? Yes. And if it is not necessary, don't speak that. Only speak when necessary. Don't speak. So there is this tendency or this sanskar to speak to fill the void. When two people are sitting silently, you suddenly start feeling uncomfortable and then start asking, so how is the weather today? Do you like it? So don't do that. That's not necessary. Baba says it is better to keep quiet than to speak wastefully. And for that, you need to have this love for solitude and love for remembrance of Baba. Because, if you don't like solitude, you can't remember Baba. And if you don't remember Baba, you can't fill yourself with manners and happiness. Baba tells us today that remembrance makes you full of happiness and full of manners. And this manner of speaking is also a divine manner. And we will have that when we remember Baba. Because, those who are suffering from solitude, they will just, keep looking for company. And whenever they find somebody, they will talk extra. I remember I went, I was just traveling for some seva. And there was a sister with me. And from the time we sat in the car, she started talking. And until we reached there, she did not even pause to breathe. she kept talking continuously. And you know how long that drive was? It was around 2 hours. And she just kept talking continuously. And then and then later, when a murli when Baba spoke a murli about talking more, just like today, she wrote a big letter to me. And she said, I have gone and revisited that day so many times, and I think, I talked too much that day. And then that letter also, that on WhatsApp she wrote, that letter must have been 2 pages. And then I said, you talked more that day and you wrote more today. So this is the thing that we are doing. And this happens because we don't love solitude. We are not, we don't. And so you have to develop this love for solitude. And anybody, and I will tell you from experience, there are two sanskars which are very detrimental to the spiritual path. One is, if you can't stay alone, if you can't be in solitude, if you can't be in Baba's remembrance and enjoy your own company. Second sanskar is, if you have the sanskar of feeling too much, feeling somebody's words, feeling somebody's gestures. If you feel too much, if you read too much into somebody's words and behaviors, then very difficult to stay on this path of spirituality. Because these two tendencies, they are a big door for Maya. And Maya will keep cheating you through these two doors. So this is what Baba is warning against. And then Baba says, you also have to go to the world of peace. So that's why, you have to move from the state of talkie to movie to silence. So enjoy your company with Baba. Try to love and cherish that company. And I will tell you, even if you have the sanskar of talking right now, if you try experimenting with Baba's remembrance and taste the sweetness of Baba's company, you will realize that you love that more than the sweetness of talking. But you have to remember Baba and taste that. Because what happens is, when you don't, Baba, so this knowledge, this path is not about, just not doing something. It's about doing something. So until and unless you take out time and remember Baba and fill your heart with the sweetness of that remembrance, you cannot let go of these attractions for company, for waste talk, for waste company. You cannot let go of these attractions if you don't fill your heart with Baba's remembrance. So what happens is, sometimes Brahmin children, they take a wrong route. They try to stop doing something without embracing the practices that Baba is telling them. So Baba says, be soul conscious, remember me. And when you remember Baba, your heart will be so full of virtues and manners and happiness that you will not feel the need to talk too much. So this is also there. And then Baba says, talk sweetly. So whenever you say something, be sweet. Even if you are giving some direction to somebody, correction to somebody, make it sweet, Does Baba speak in a manner that would hurt us? No. Baba always speaks in a manner that is loveful. Even if Baba is giving a very big, direction, Baba will make it loveful. So Baba says, you also have to talk sweetly. Do you know, even bitter medicine, when it is mixed with sugar syrup, even a little child is able to drink it. So Baba says, even if you are giving a correction which has the capacity to hurt somebody, if you say it in a sweet manner, that will not hurt. That will hit the heart. So speak sweetly. And then Baba says, speak softly. No, don't be loud. Nobody, a deity won't be loud. So keep your tone soft. So this is also there. And then Baba gives us a very interesting understanding. Baba says, Baba says that step away. So Baba says, hear no evil, see no evil, talk no evil, think no evil. The things that you don't like, you have to step away from those bad things, and both parties will then be quietened. Okay, so do you know how to step away? Yes, because what happens is their Maya's sanskar is, if you don't like something, think too much about it, discuss too much about it. What do you overthink and over discuss? The things that you don't like. They said this, they did this. Is it right? Just think, just tell me, is it right? And the other day they did this, they said this. So Baba says, no, step aside. If you know that you don't like something, don't let it enter your intellect. Don't think about it. So, because if what you don't like sits here, then it will activate the sanskars of anger and resentment. And then it will spoil your speech. Because whatever will happen in the mind will not stop there, it will come into speech also. So Baba says, if you don't like something, just ignore it. Step aside. Don't think about it. See but not see, hear but not hear. And you have to understand that according to the drama and according to our past karmic accounts, we will have to be in situations, we will have to be with many sanskars which we don't like. But I don't have to think about it, I don't have to focus on it, I don't have to discuss it. You have to have an emotional and mental boundary. You cannot have, it's not always possible to have physical boundaries, but you have to have emotional and mental boundaries. And that means not thinking about those which you don't like. And then you will be able to stay calm within and stay soft and sweet in your words. So, this is also about boundary setting that Baba tells us. Now, today there is an announcement. So the festival of Raksha Bandhan is coming. So some of you don't know the festival of Raksha Bandhan. So what is Raksha Bandhan? So traditionally in India, there is this festival of Raksha Bandhan, which is on 28th August this month. And in that Raksha Bandhan, sisters tie a thread, a holy thread, on the wrist of the brothers. Okay, so the Lokik sister, they tie a holy thread to the wrist of the brother. And Baba explains to us in knowledge that this thread is tied for purity. So I will tell you, according to mythology, when there was this, so according to mythology, there was this king called Indra, and when he was going for war, then his wife tied this thread on his wrist. So this is a story in mythology which is very interesting. She was not the sister, she was the wife, but she tied the thread and blessed that you would win the war. And what does the thread signify? The thread signified purity. That even if you are in a relationship of husband and wife, if there is purity, then that power of purity will protect somebody. So this was the message. And Baba says, all these festivals are memorials of what we do in this confluence age. So when Baba comes, Baba makes us tie a thread on our wrists. And who ties it on behalf of Baba? We sisters. So the sisters who practice purity, the sisters who have embraced a life of purity, they tie the thread on the wrist of brothers and sisters both. And when you tie that thread, you have to make a pledge of, observing purity of thought, word, and deed. Okay, and observing celibacy first. So that is the pledge you take while tying the thread of Raksha Bandhan. And this we do every year. And now that you are all joining online, so there is a method through which we have decided to celebrate Raksha Bandhan, which is, you send me your address and I will send the Rakhi to you. Okay, I will send the Raksha Bandhan thread to you. And then on the day when we will be celebrating Raksha Bandhan here, that on that day, you tie that thread. Okay, when everybody ties it here, you tie it there. So this is the way we will be celebrating Raksha Bandhan. So all of you, you send me your addresses individually on WhatsApp, and I will, because now very limited time, 20 days only, so we will arrange for how to send it to you and stuff. So you give me your addresses, so I will make the arrangements. So this is the announcement today. Okay. Om Shanti. Anybody wants to share anything, please do.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Today Baba says that we are embodiment of love, peace, joy, happiness, knowledge, powers, and so we have to be very conscious, soul conscious. Whatever we are thinking, speaking, acting, all is affecting the environment, souls, and the nature. And be soul conscious.
Yes.
Thank
Okay. Om Shanti. Thank you. Yes, Sasiben.
Yes, Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
And I always like the sister who spoke before me. I don't know her name. Always she summarizes nice points.
Yes.
Yesterday, I think she was telling in Hindi. We don't know Hindi, so or many people in our group also doesn't know. Maybe you can translate it for us, sister.
Okay.
And I have two questions. Like we all are like. As far as me and my husband are new here, or some of them have joined later too, we might have missed so many Murlis before. It's like every day is something new. All the Murli teaches that we have to remember Baba, the main thing that is irrespective of any theme. So will it be repeated or every day it will be new, sister?
Okay. So I'll tell you about the Murlis. So Baba spoke the Murlis from 1936 to 1969. Okay. So through Brahma Baba's body. Those are called Sakar Murlis. Okay. Those are the Murlis that we study from Monday to Saturday. Okay. And the Murli that we study on Sunday is called the Avyakt Murli. What is the Avyakt Murli? It is the Murli that Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba both descended into the body of Dadi Gulzar after Brahma Baba left the body. And through Dadi Gulzar's body, these Murlis were spoken. Okay? Now, the Murlis that we read are not the entire lot from 1936 to 69. Only the last 5 years. 64 to 69. Those are the Murlis that we read in the class or revise in the class. Why? Because Baba says in the beginning, I was slowly explaining, so many things were like unfinished. Okay, so when I started speaking the Gyan completely, that was from in the last 5 years. So the Sakar Murlis are repeated every 5 years. Okay. So once you study once from the day you join, in 5 years, you will have read all the Sakar Murlis.
I see. Okay.
And the Avyakt Murlis are being revised Sunday to Sunday, and there are books of Avyakt Murlis for each year. 1969, 70, 71. Yearly books are there. So you can study them on your own also. If you want to understand whatever Baba said, so you can study them on your own also. And you can find those books on BK Dr. Luhar. So BKDR Luhar. BKDR LUHAR. So .com, that's the website. In that, there is a whole section of Avyakt Murlis from 1969 to the last, that 2017 Baba spoke. So all the murlis are there. You can just look up online and study them for your own benefit also.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sister, for sharing that information. I never knew that.
Okay.
And one question based on Murali's today. So I know I have to. I talk if people talk, but I talk loud too. So I just want to fix all that. At the same time, if someone is talking, like today my brother called me, and he never calls, and whenever he calls, he talks for a long time, politics, this and that. Even if I'm interested or not interested, he keeps talking. How do we cut that?
So that's why Baba said.
It will be rude to say to my brother.
No, that's why Baba said, set boundaries. So whenever the setting is possible physically, do that. See, you cannot tell your brother instantly, keep quiet. But after 2 minutes, you can, sound disinterested. That will also, because, I will share one experience. My brother also talks a lot about these things, but he knows that she doesn't understand. So I have given him full communication that I do not understand these things. So when he starts talking, he feels he is wasting his time. So then he stops talking. So this is a very good method. Okay. Okay. Om Shanti.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Tripti Ben.
Om Shanti Didi.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yes.
Didi, today Baba.
1 second. Yes, Tripti Ben, you got muted. Please unmute. Yes. Yes, please share.
Yeah. Today Baba says, speak whenever the need be. So when I'm talking about Gyan to someone, I should have that vocabulary that helps me to speak as long as an hour also.
Correct.
And whenever the need be, I should be able to stay quiet and develop the sanskar of listening also.
Correct. And for that, Baba also gave one very good method, that whenever you don't have too much to do, then keep practicing how to share Gyan. Keep learning and keep practicing, keep training yourself to do seva. This is also something that Baba mentioned in the Murli today. Yes, what else were you sharing?
And today you taught us about the two sanskars that are detrimental on the path of spirituality. One is in staying in solitude, and the other is not getting into feelings for anything and everything that has been told to you.
Correct.
And the third thing I liked is setting the emotional and mental boundaries that will help me to step on my, keep walking on my path of spirituality.
Correct.